Welcome back, Stasa23 here, back again with some knife therapy, and I'm going to start my video off by saying thank you to my good buddy Tony Meader who loaned me this knife right here. Thank you, Tony. He's such an awesome guy. If you're not following him already on Instagram, go check him out. He puts up some amazing pictures, and he's a super awesome guy. So let's get started. The knife that he lent me for a loaner knife is the CH branded 3504, and this is the large, and I enjoyed this knife so much that I decided to pick up the mini version, and this is the CH 3504 mini. But these two are very, very similar. I'm going to talk about this one first, and then I'll talk about the differences between the two. All right, let's get started. The large is supporting CPM S35 VN blade steel. You know, I can't prove whether it's that steel or not, but I have used this pretty extensively, and it's definitely, you know, no HCR or anything like that. It did perform pretty nicely, and like I said, I can't say yes or no either way. Did take a very nice polish, as you can see. I wanted to make sure Tony got his knife back in better condition than it came. I also did sisal rope cut test with this one and the mini. Hopefully I'll remember to post those before I post this review so you can kind of judge on how well the knife did on the cut test. Alrighty, what do we have here? Let's get some specs out of the way. You have an overall length of let's see, 8 1/4 inches. You have a blade length of about 3 1/2 inches, and you have a handle of about 4 3/4 of an inch. Your handle thickness is right at 1/2 inch, so not bad at all. That's, you know, I prefer around about that thickness. And real quick, we'll go over the specs of the mini. The mini has an overall length of 6 3/4 inches. It has a 3-inch blade, so this will be legal in more areas that have stricter laws. Your handle comes in right at 4 inches, and the thickness on this guy is 0.41 inches, so it's a thin knife. All right, let's dive into the blade. You have a nice classic drop point, beautiful, beautiful blade. You got this wedge in the middle that just draws some extra, you know, it adds in the looks department. The finish on here is kind of like I guess it's a bead blast finish, which usually I don't like, especially, you know, in steels that are prone to rusting, but I haven't had any issues with this one or the mini rusting at all. And usually if a knife is prone to rusting like D2 or something like that, or any other tool steels, my house is like a meat locker in here, and they usually will rust if I don't have some sort of protectant or I don't keep them in a pouch. This one has had no problems whatsoever. The billboarding is not too bad. You have the CH logo right there. I don't really know what that means. Anybody who speaks Chinese can let me know that. You have your model right there, CH 3504, and on this side you have your blade steel designation. And you have a sharpening notch down here, and as you can see, they executed it pretty good. They could have went up a little bit further, because as you can see, it widens just a little bit, but I'll give that a pass. You definitely won't get a recurve in that because of the sharpening choil. The jimping up here is mainly for looks and indexing, because it's with the finish on here, it's kind of slick. Going to your handles, you got titanium. You got a titanium frame lock with it kind of looks like denim color. It's like a bluish with black speckles in there. Looks pretty cool. Definitely rather this. They also had this model that that came out before this with the skull motif on here. I'm not really a skull fan, but that was the first one that came out, if you recognize this knife because of that. The price point on this version right here, sorry, my voice is breaking. The S35VN large, Amazon had it for $98, which I prefer to get it off Amazon just because of, returning policies and stuff like that. It's a lot easier, get it a lot quicker. You can also get this one on DHgate. It's a overseas site for $87. So you save a little bit of money, but you got to wait a lot longer usually. And this was 2-day prime. Not this exact one, but this guy was 2-day prime. The price point on the Mini, which has AUS 8 blade steel, and like I said, pretty much everything the same. On Amazon, I picked this guy up on Amazon Prime for $65, which we'll see at the end whether I think it's a good value or not. Or if you wanted to save some money, you could pick it up on DHgate's site for $42, but like I said, you'll be waiting a lot longer, and I'm not sure what their return policies are. All right, let's dive back into it. You have that denim color on here. You can get it with skulls. You can get it with different colors. They definitely have a bunch of the different versions of the large, not so much on the Mini as far as I could tell. You have a decorative pivot that takes a Torx T8 and T8 here and here. Also, I love whenever you don't have to swap out your bits. That makes it just easier when you're maintaining your knife. You got a nice generous lanyard hole that can easily fit 550 in there. You got a titanium backspacer that's done pretty nicely. There it goes on this guy. In your hammer grip are outstanding. In your saber grip, good as well. I was able to put a lot of pressure behind this blade, cutting into some 2x4s, plastic, and a good bit of cardboard. Your pull grip right here is okay, but this part of the knife kind of gives you a hot spot in this portion of my hand. I wear a medium-sized glove, if that helps anybody. And in your reverse grip, it's a more than okay in the comfort area. Okay, let's go to the lock side. You have the same decorative pivot here. You have your steel lock bar insert that, if you can see right there, you also have an over travel built into that. You have a milled titanium pocket clip that works pretty well. It's got some good spring to it, and we'll see what it looks like in both types of pockets, your flat pockets and your slanted pockets, if it fits in here. Let's see. You got enough ramp. So that's how much is sticking out, but it does kind of cover up that lanyard hole. But I do like the fact that, being that it's not deep carry, you still have a lot of the knife disappearing in the pocket, and you're able to grab that and pull it straight out. That's one benefit about a regular pocket clip rather than deep carry. And as you can see right here, it buries pretty deep into the pocket, and your lanyard hole is exposed. So if you're a lanyard guy, you'll still be able to use a lanyard with your flat pockets. Alrighty. So we touched on the clip. They did a nice job of knocking off these edges. A lot of companies, when they cut the lock bar relief, these are usually sharp, but they did a good job. They have a very minor bevel going around the entire frame. I don't know if, yeah, there you go. You can see the little chamfer around the entire frame. Your flipper tab, at first glance, I hated it. But it's definitely set up to, no thinking involved. It's pointing in that direction. So basically, for your light switch, you just put your finger on it and pull back. And I'm gonna say it right now, the star of the show for this knife is the action. It's running on ceramic bearings, ceramic detent ball, and it fires out. Every single time it fires out, nice and smooth. I haven't taken this one down or cleaned it out. I plan on doing it before I send it back to them, but it doesn't really need it. Let's see, I'm sure it drops. Yeah, it'll drop free with a little bit of shaking. And it's not really, you can semi-push button it, but being that flat portion is up here in the front, you can kind of load, but it fires out just as good with doing your light switch. Okay, we talked about the action. Let's see. So let's talk about a few of the differences between the large and the mini. One main reason why I picked up the mini is just because the large, there's no milling in the inside to lighten up any. So let's see what the large weighs. It was a little bit heavy, and it's a little bit, being that they had the smaller one, I just wanted to check it out, especially at the price point. Let's see how many ounces this guy is. 5.59, which is not crazy for the size, but when I can get it a lighter knife, a little bit smaller, I'm good with that. Let's see what the smaller one is. 3.8 ounces. That's outstanding for me. Perfect. Basically, don't even know it's there. First things first, main differences in between the two. You have AUS 8 here and S35 here. I will say, like I said, hopefully I have posted the cut test video. This AUS 8 performed really good, actually shocked me, and I'm definitely okay with it as a EDC steel. This one still uses the same Torx T8 throughout, but they do not have the decorative pivot on this mini. I don't know if any of the other ones do, but the ones I was looking at, which I'm fine with that. The blade stock on the large is right at about 4 millimeters or 0.157 inches. And this guy is right around 3 millimeters, and that'll be about 0.120 inches. So I'll tell you right off the bat, another main reason why I wanted to try the smaller one, because I figured it would have, thinner blade stock, and the large is about 0.027 behind the edge, so it's definitely not the best cutter. When I did the Sisal rope cut test, it was not fun at all, even with this polished edge. There's just a lot of resistance. It gets thicker with this flat grind. It gets thicker quick. And this guy right here was a slicing maniac. It was an absolute joy to do the Sisal rope cut test with this. Probably the easiest out of all the knives I've tested so far. It's measuring in right at 0.018 behind the cutting edge. That's thinner than a Spyderco Delica. So, I like my knives to perform rather than I'm not trying to cut through center blocks or anything like that. The ergos on the small one are awesome in my hands, especially in the saber grip and the hammer grip. The reverse grip, they're not too great because that portion digs into the palm, and reverse grip, which I'd never do with this, is a-okay. Let's see, something that the mini doesn't have that the large does. As you can see on the large, you got the model designation CH3504. I noticed the mini doesn't have a model designation unless that's what it says in that character right there. Like I said, for me, this was my choice. If I had to choose between the two, the mini all day, every day, twice on Sundays. And that's just for me. I have a medium-sized hand. I like a nice lightweight knife. I like a performer. I'd rather have a thin behind-the-edge knife that, cuts very nice. Now, would I have liked to see an upgrade on the steel? Sure. No doubt about it. Another difference on this one, it doesn't have any coating, but if I can show you, let's see if I can get it to focus. It has some nice milled lines from the machining process. Yeah, it's not going to show, of course. Yep. Okay, well, you just have to take my word on it. It's got some milled lines right here. Let's get a few size comparisons on some knives that are using AUS 8, and you can kind of get a price range. Let's go with the large first. Let's see, compare it with the Rat Model 1, and this is the D2 version, but you could just act like it's the AUS 8. They're about the same. These are almost identical in size. Handles are about identical, and I think that this one doesn't have titanium. Well, I know it doesn't. It has the FRN scales, and I think it runs around $34 for the large. I could be wrong. Another one in AUS 8 that I have, the Cold Steel American Lawman. And the Lawman is a little bit smaller than the large. Another one is the CRKT Crossbones. And as you can see, the Crossbones is a little bit smaller. And one more last one in AUS 8 is the Fenwolf, Cold Steel Fenwolf, and it's a little bit smaller. Let's get a quick size comparison on the Mini, just so you can have an idea, and then I'll let you guys go. One that to me is closest in size would be the Ontario Rat Model 2. The Rat Model 2 is just a hair bigger in the handle and in the blade, but you know, good comparison. For $30 more, you're getting titanium with ceramic bearings, ceramic detent. So that to me it's worth it. If it's not to you, then that's fine also. Let's get a size real quick. And this guy, yeah, the Crossbones is way bigger. And let's see, got one more, Kershaw AM4. And the AM4 is also a good bit bigger. So there you go. There's your size comparison. So to me, I understand if, this company's still, fairly new to the market. They have some really cool designs out there. And it's hard to say whether, I could recommend this knife or not. This is a small one to me at $64 or even cheaper if you get it off of DH Gate, $42. But at $65, you get it off of Amazon Prime, and if you don't like it, you can send it back. So I'm okay with recommending the small one. It's a great slicer. The AUS 8 is just fine. If you're okay with the Rat Model 2 and it's fine with you, then this one, I can promise you, I'm not certain. I'll have to go back and watch, but I think the AUS 8 on this guy outperformed the AUS 8 on this guy. But I have to wait and see what that looked like. So I hope everybody this was somewhat informative. Thanks again, Tony. Hopefully I'm getting close to that 1,000 subscriber marker so I can do my 1,000 subscriber giveaway, getting the prizes ready for that. So if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Share this video to your friends and family. And if you're not already, smash that subscribe button. Do it. Do it now. Smash that subscribe button. All right, guys and girls. Y'all have a great one. Talk to you later. Peace.